Are you considering redoing your garden? Well, my wife and I, we've been through this process, so we've got some pictures here, and I'll tell you a little bit about what we did, how we did it, what we learnt along the way. So the garden that we'd had for about 28 years. I was very, very happy with it. We had a little goldfish pond in the corner, my natural area, very much overgrown, but I liked it. We had a patio where we could sort of stand, and we had a little bit of lawn. My wife decided, no, we're actually going to redesign the whole thing, so that was fine. She got in a designer, showed him what we had and what we wanted, and he came up with some ideas and wrote out some schemes. Cost was about £500, something like that. It was probably money well spent, actually, because he did come up with some ideas that we hadn't thought of, and it was quite good actually seeing it all laid out. The plan involved filling in my goldfish pond, which I wasn't very happy about, but we were rebuilding it in another part of the garden. We were going to have a secluded little area with an arbour opposite our French doors from a living room, and we were going to have another patio area opposite our conservatory. And then the third area was where the garden shed would be, and there would be a bit of gravel and so forth. So, plan obtained, plan approved, instructions from my wife, that's what we're going to have. She wasn't totally comfortable that I would actually be able to build this, so she started speaking to contractors about doing the whole thing for us, but I was actually very keen to do it myself. I did find myself now with a slight political situation where I needed to keep my wife happy, and I needed to create a garden. So I basically just gradually started working on it and working away. So I filled in the goldfish pond and so forth. I had some of the builders that we'd used the previous year back to rebuild some steps for me and rebuild a little bit of existing brick walling, and that was straightforward. Then I bought lots and lots of those little square stones. They're about 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres. You can see these in some of the photographs here. And I laid these all out in a circular manner to make a nice little round patio area. I built an arbour just behind it, and then we planted lots of green plants and so forth to sort of overgrow it. So once they were grown up, we knew we'd have a nice look there. The existing patio we actually kept as it was. We changed the shape of it slightly. I had some old saddle stones which I'd got from my late aunt after she passed away. They'd been in her garden, and they would have once been underneath some sort of shed or barn or building of some sort. Exactly what the history was we didn't know, but it was nice to sort of keep them. They're very, very old, and so we managed to figure out how to actually put those into the garden as well. We then had the area where we redug a new goldfish pond, and we were able to put some life into it. And I'm hoping as time goes on that will eventually become nice and overgrown and a nice little ecosystem of its own. So far it's looking quite good. I built a shed in the corner. The shed I actually built out of recycled stuff left over from the house build a few years earlier. So from the house build we got a lot of the timber to actually build the shed, and we got a lot of the roof tiles. That was a project in itself, but that came together quite well. And then we had a raised bed which we made really out of some sleepers. Buying some sleepers and having them delivered was actually not very expensive. And then I was able to buy these pins that sort of hold them together. Filled all that with soil, and we planted a lot of New Zealand plants actually to make that look good. Something else I must say, in our garden we're on chalk as the lower substrate. The soil on the top is full of rocks. We have lots of flint rocks, so our garden was full of rocks. We actually took the opportunity to take all the rocks out. So I like keeping myself fit. I go for a jog every now and then, things like that. So for a period, instead of going for my jog, I would be going out in the late afternoon, and I'd get a sifter, and I would dig soil out of the garden, sift the rocks out of it, and put the soil into one bag and then the rocks into another bag. I know that sounds a bit crazy, and over the space of 6 months I probably sifted about 6 tons of soil, all by hand. Doing it bit by bit meant that I didn't get us all back. I got a lot of satisfaction from it. and then that soil we were able to use to put the plants into, and the gravel, as you can see from the photographs, we then used all the little rocks mixed in with our gravel to make just a nice surface for the other part of the garden. So yeah, overall everything went very well. My wife's very, very pleased with what we've actually got, and now that we're sort of a few years on, the plants have grown out quite well and we're really pleased with it. There's no grass to mow. We have kept a little bit of grass at the front of the house, so we still have a little bit to mow there. But it's been a great project. But anyway, I hope some of the pictures and some of the content of the paper that accompanies this video gives you some useful ideas. Thank you.